Hey everybody. We wanted to do a couple of videos to kind of talk y'all through what's going to happen for next year, talk you through the cross country 101 PowerPoint that we usually give a presentation about in person. Um, because some of the veteran families already know some things about some things that we're going to discuss, like what does a cross country race look like? You've been to some before, so we cut the presentation up into multiple different parts. Feel free to go through and just kind of watch the videos that you think would be more relevant to you. But Coach Christie, if you would like to introduce yourself.
Okay, I'm Coach Andy Christie. I'm the boys head coach and assistant head girls coach for Mill Creek.
And I'm Coach Sexton. I am the head girls coach and the assistant head boys coach for Mill Creek. And let's dig into this. 1 second to pull up the PowerPoint. Okay, so like I said, we're going to divide these videos up into 4 different videos so that they're a little bit more bite-sized for everybody. Video number 1, we're going to talk right now about what is this sport, and then how can your kids get involved. Second video, we'll have why do we do what we do at practice, how do we train for these races, those sorts of things. Number 3, we'll talk about the basics of races, including what our schedule is going to look like for this year, and then how to qualify for the different races. And then 4th video, we'll talk about how parents, how you all can assist with your athletes, things you can do to help them out through this process.
Coach Sexton, you want to put it in present mode?
Is it not? Oh, yes, I do.
Thanks.
There we go. So attached to the email that this should have come out in, we're going to put the cross-country big handout packet. This has a lot of information for you about booster club dues, volunteer opportunities, specific team rules. There's a number of things on the handout that we're not going to talk through here in these presentations, because if you read them, they're fairly self-explanatory. But it's very important that you do open that handout up and that you do look through those rules, those expectations, and just familiarize yourself with those things. When your student comes to their first practice, every single kid on the team has to have a physical on file. You can go to your doctor and have them fill out a physical. Walgreens and CVS have little minute clinics in the back where an athlete can go in and fairly quickly get a physical examination if that's a better option for you. There's multiple different ways you can go about this, but before your athlete's ever allowed to practice in any Mill Creek sport, they have to have a physical completed by a doctor. In the past, these have been paper forms that you needed to print off of the website and bring back to us. But this year, Mill Creek is trying something new. Correct me if I'm wrong, I think the whole county is transitioning to this system, right, Coach Christie?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. It is now an online form called Dragonfly. There's an app that you can download. There's an app that all coaches are going to have on their phones. All the physical trainers are going to have on their phones, and it's going to help us consolidate all the data. It's the same basic physical, it's just a different format for your students to get them from. Physicals are good for up to a year after your student gets them. So if a student gets one for cross-country season, that will also carry them through track season. But once those physicals expire, we have to make them stop practicing until they get an updated one. So it's very important that if you are a veteran runner, if you are a veteran parent, you're aware of when your child's physical is going to expire. We'll send out some emails helping you to sort that out with all of the physicals listed. But it's a very important, not deadline, it's a very important date to notice when your student's physical is coming up. What is this sport in general, though? So once they show up to practice, once they've got their physical on file, cross country is a distance running competition. Cross country, or a lot of times you'll see it abbreviated as XC because the X looks like a little cross thing. It is a 5,000 meter or a 3.1 mile race. at the beginning of our season, we like to do little 2-mile races to kind of build into the rest of the season, just because they're a little bit easier for the newer runners to wrap their heads around. It's a little bit less daunting than the 3.1-mile race. We can kind of build into where we want the kids to be later on. But the 2-mile races are not as common. You won't really see them after we get out of August. The terrain that we race on can be anything from gravel to grass to dirt, trails. Every now and then we'll have a race with a paved section, but we try to avoid those because the footing's not as good for the kids. But talking through all of that, it's easiest to explain what cross country is just by showing it. This is a video from a race that we go to every year called the Wingfoot Classic. The video is from 2018, but we're going again here in 2020. Just kind of showing off the scale and the level of competition at these meets. We're not going to watch the whole thing because a video within a video seems a little bit redundant, but just kind of giving you a glimpse of what this is like. Okay, so like I said, we're not going to watch the whole video, but that kind of gives you a glimpse of it. It is a big deal when we go to the invitational races. It kind of gets this festival-like atmosphere. We don't jump straight into races that are that big. We're going to start with, like I said, the 2 miles that are much smaller in scale. We'll have a couple of JV meets and kind of dual meets with other teams early on to get our feet wet. And then as we go through the season, the meets get bigger and bigger, and we build up to kind of Wingfoot. But we will talk about that a lot more on our races slide. For now, we're going to transition over. Coach Christie's going to talk a little bit on the next video about what we do at practice to prepare for this, how we kind of build up to these big 5K races. Coach Christie, anything else to add for the introduction video?
No, just that the races are really exciting, and you guys will see that firsthand once we get to the season. But that video gives you a glimpse of what to expect.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and end this video here. But again, check on the email. There should be more links to more of these videos, kind of talking you through more of what's going on with our team, with practices, and with this whole cross country